Let's look at a few examples. Example 1. If someone were to ask you to sketch, so this example will help with the problems from number 1 to 12. If someone says sketch the given whole numbers on a number line, then arrange them in order from smallest to largest, and the numbers they give you are 0, 4, and 3. Then you go to a number line, and you know that your 0 will be the smallest one, and then we go to 3, and we go to 4. So we have put these numbers on a number line. That is what this section is asking you to do. It gives you a series of numbers and asks you to sketch them on a number line. Example 2. For example 2, we are looking at problems 13 to 24. Now, please, if you are doing these problems and you still want more examples, please feel free to reach out and we will give you more examples. Do not hesitate to reach out. For example 2, they ask you, create a number line diagram to determine which of the two given statements is true. So they give you values like 3 is less than 8 or 3 is greater than 8. They ask you which of these is true and then put it on a number line. Well, you remember your less than sign. If you have 1 is less than 5, for example, then we know that this is true. You have a 1 and you have a 5. And 1 is definitely less than 5. So in the second set of exercises, you create a number line and then you put the values for what they're looking for on the number line and illustrate it to be true. Of course, 5 is not less than 1. That is not true. 1 is less than 5. That's an example that you can use. They give you a series of problems like number 24, where they ask 73 is less than 21 or 73 is greater than 21. And of course, we know that 73 is greater than 21. We can illustrate that on a number line. Very good. Example. For example 3, this covers problems 25 all the way to problem 52. So from about 25 to 52. They give you problems. Well, actually, there's several sets of problems here. So there's 25 to 36 and then 37 to 52. So these first problems are dealing with questions like number 25, which digit is in the thousands column of the number. So you're dealing with place value. So let's do place value for examples 25 to 36. Let's talk about an example from that section. So 25 said which digit is in the thousands column of the number, and then they give you a certain number. Let me do the even problem, number 26, because you do have the answer key that will talk to you about odd problems. I will focus on the even problems. So we have 2 and then 318 and 999 and 087. So when they give you this number, which by the way, if you want to remember how to call these, remember this is your, from this point out, you're at 1,000. This is 100,000. This is 100 million. And now we're in the billions. So this is 2,318,999,087. So basically now when we're looking at this number, they ask us which digit is in the hundreds column of the number. So we have 10, we have ones, tens, 100, and then we have 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, million, 10 million, 100 million, and billion. So that's the order. Remember, from Tools for Mastering Mathematics, we have a section for place value on page 21 and page 22. So please remember page 21 from your reference book, and page 22 will talk to you about place value. Very important concept in algebra and arithmetic. So the 0 is the hundreds place. That's the value that corresponds to that. We can ask what value is in the millions place, and you can pick 8 and say 8 million. That's the millions place. So these kinds of questions from number 25 to 36 are asking about place value. Let's look at the example for the next type. Example 4. So for example 4, we're looking at problems that have to do with rounding. Now, please note again that in mathematics, we are looking at concepts and identifying them by their name. So when we look at the concept, we're concerned about what is the concept talking about, and it doesn't really matter to us what course we're in as far as we know what concept we're dealing with specifically, and we address it as it needs to be addressed. So they say round this number 6815, number 40, to the nearest 10. So remember, this is the ones place, and that is the tens place. So if they ask us to round to the nearest 10, we ask ourselves, is 5 greater than or equal to, is this number in the ones place greater than or equal to 5? And the answer is yes. So we know we can move on to 6820 because this number is equal to or greater than 5. That's how we deal with rounding. There's another example we can look at where they ask us to round 49635, and they ask us to round that to the nearest 100. How do we deal with that one? We look at the number that we're trying to round up to, and we go to the number next to it, and we say that's a 3. That's less than 5. That means this will remain 496 and then 00. So it rounds to 49,600 because the 3 was less than 5. Example 5. In example 5, we are looking at problems like word problems. We have questions like number 53, which is asking about the U.S. Census Bureau, and we have questions like number 54. Actually, all 4 questions from number 53 to 56 are asking about the U.S. Census Bureau. They just give you a word problem. If they estimate the population of the U.S. to be a certain number, round to the nearest 100,000. So for number 54, which I will be doing, they say, according to the U.S. Census Bureau, the estimated population of California is 36 and then 756,666, and they ask you to round to the nearest 100,000. So if they're asking you to round to the nearest 100,000, you ask yourself, where is the 100,000 place? And what is the number next to it? So first you ask, where is that number? And then what is the number next to it? And then you basically see if it's greater than or equal to 5, which it is. So we get 36 and then 800,000. So it's very important to note that if it is greater than or equal to 5, you round up. And that's what we do for that problem. These kinds of problems are very common in pre-algebra. We want to make sure that we strengthen our skills in this. So let's look at another problem here for example 6. Example 6. So for example 6, if they give you graphs like they do for some of the problems that show up later on, they want you to be aware of how to interpret these graphs. So how to interpret graphs or how to make sense of the information from the graph. 758, they give you this problem in 57 where they ask you, for a question like number 57, we basically look at if you've given us the graph and they ask us what was the price on this date of 6/1/2009. Well, the answer is just $2.52 or 252 cents if you're going to write it in cents. So $2.52, or we can say 252 cents. So please note that you just look on the graph. If you look on the graph, you look for the appropriate graph and you match it to the y-axis for what that number is. Well, it's a little above 250, which you know. So then we know that for that date, it is $2.52 or 252 cents. The next section in number 58 is asking us about the following bar chart shows the average weekly NASDAQ index for 5 consecutive weeks in 2009. And they ask us what was the average NASDAQ index for the week starting that week. Well, again, you can take 2.8, which is on the graph, and you can match it to the left to see what the average was. What number matches on the left side of the graph? That's what we're doing in number 58. For 59, all the way to 60, they give us more problems that have to do with these bar graphs or line graphs. And it's very good to pay attention to what the question is asking. They give you a set of values in number 60, and you're supposed to just draw them into a bar graph. So that's what we're doing for number 60. If you have any questions on graphing or bar graphs or line graphs, let me know. They give you more problems like this for number 62, 63, all the way to 65 on 66. For 66, they say the table shows the number of adult salmon returning to the Shasta River over the past 4 years. Round the salmon count for each year to the nearest 10. They just want you to round that to the nearest 10. Now, keep in mind that if you already have 300, that is in a form of tens. Or if you have 31, you have to round that down to 30. If you have 9, that can go up to 10. And ultimately, when you have a situation, again, where your number to the right is less than 5, then we'd round down for that particular rounding. So please make sure you let me know if you have any questions on any of these questions, and we will answer you quickly. So make sure you reach out if you have any questions. Thank you for your time, and well done. We're done with chapter 1.1. Have a great day.